Hello and welcome to EB5 Investment Report. I'm Amy Rios. The EB5 program is ever evolving, but one thing that remains a constant is the importance of due diligence and transparency, which are vital to any investor's decision-making process. Over the past few years, we've seen project failures where investors and their agents did not perform their due diligence and issues were not disclosed to them, which may have affected their decision on investing in the project in the first place. Due diligence requires doing background checks of those involved with the offering and asking many questions, including how much the broker is making from the deal. And with the new year upon us, perhaps one of the biggest issues now facing EB5 is the disclosure of broker compensation. Would an investor have second thoughts regarding a project if they knew how much their broker was making? And how important to investors is a return on their investment? Recently, we interviewed some professionals in the EB5 industry on their opinion regarding these hot topics. According to Jason Lee, founder of CanSign, a large migration company in China and director of the U.S.-China Immigration Investment Association, it is up to the regional center to tell the investors about broker fees and other issues in the Private Placement Memorandum, or PPM. He says the normal broker rate is between $40,000 and $45,000 and that some investors are not concerned about the fees. They just want their green card and a return on their money. We're here with Jason Lee of CanSign it's just CanSign Group, right?
Yeah.
We're here with Jason Lee of CanSign Group. Jason, we just recently had you in our studio, and we just wanted to make a couple of clarifications. We asked you whether the broker fees being paid to the Chinese immigration brokers by regional centers were being disclosed to their Chinese investors, and we understood you to say you were not sure, but they might be disclosed in the regional center's private placement memorandum, also known as the PPM. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. The PPM is actually prepared by the regional center. They hired a lawyer to prepare the PPM. From what I understand, that they should disclose everything. That's actually up to the regional center to do it. As agent, we cannot do anything about that.
And also, we had asked about that the investors, if they should know the fees that are being paid. Should these fees be disclosed? And your response, you said that some of them aren't that concerned. Can you expand on that?
Yes, on the market, actually, everybody knows what the fees everybody charge in this industry. So everybody already agree that the fees, they should pay the fees, in order for them to receive the green card. Somebody don't really care about that. They only care about if they can receive their green card or if they can receive their money back. Maybe somebody care about it. But if they ask this question, from what I know, I like to tell them everything.
Securities attorney Michael Homeyer says most investors are sophisticated and care both about their green card, but also about getting a return. We've talked to people who have told us that a lot of investors aren't really concerned with the broker fees. They're just concerned about getting a green card. Have you found that in your work?
No, actually, much less so now than before. There's a lot of talk, the investors don't care about how much return they get. They don't care about who's getting what money. In our experience, that's not true. Many of these, if not most of these investors, are sophisticated people. That's how they were able to be successful in their home countries, enough to consider sinking $500,000 or $1 million. It's a lot of money, even today, into a U.S. business that they don't know. It's a country is not their native country, and they're going to tie that money up for 5 years, regardless of the immigration benefit. The typical life of an EB5 investment is a 5-year investment, so that money's out of their pockets for 5 years. If the business fails, they've lost the investment. If the business doesn't fail but it just doesn't go anywhere, or even if it performs, they're not getting any return on that money. They're not making 15% or 20% on $1 million that they might be able to get if they invested it differently. So there's that opportunity cost. People care about these issues. There may be some investors who are so eager to come here, they'll pay any price. Most investors, though, are not, and their agents, their representatives, are not. And of course, the government is not. The government cares very much that the investors are not taken advantage of, and they should. I mean, the government is really our friend, because if the program is properly policed and the kids and cowboys are kept to a minimum, and we've only got straight shooters trying to do the right thing by themselves as well as their investors, that's going to make this program survive in the long haul and be healthy, and that benefits absolutely everybody.
Immigration attorney Bernard Woolstorff says that initially investors just want their green card, but later on down the line, they're looking for a return on their investment. However, how much of a return is not that important. Do you find that your clients and some investors are more concerned with getting their green card than actually getting a return on their money? We've had reports of people saying that, the investors just really want their green card. They can worry about the money later.
Well, that is a perception, but, when you start the case, those of us who've been in this program for a long time, and I like saying I filed my first case in 1993, 20 years ago, at start it's how quickly can we get our green card? And then further down the road, 5 years later, it's where's my money back? Yeah. So yes, it is not the primary consideration. The one thing that is not a big deal is what's the return. They're not looking for a good return. If you want a return on your money, in China they get 20-25% in business without much trouble. That's like unheard of in America. So, return, these people are not investing to get a good return on their money. They want to, number one, make sure they get their green card, and they want some reasonable assurance further down the road that they'll be getting their money back. And people need to focus on those.
In the coming year, the EB5 program is sure to continue to evolve and perhaps make the disclosure of dealer broker fees mandatory to aid investors with their due diligence and the projects they choose. I'm Amy Rios, and I want to thank you for watching this special edition of EB5 Investment Report.